What's up, everybody? I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And welcome to another episode of this freaking show. It is the weekly podcast with a little bit of something and a whole lot of nothing. The same weekly podcast is brought to you by CarterComics.com. It's a one-stop shop for all your comic needs, whether it be graded or raw. Carter Comics has got them all. And you can find them on CarterComics.com. Head to their store, check out all their amazing comics that are available. Fill up your cart, use the discount code, FREAKNET, that's right, FreakNet. Discount code will save you 10% on your entire purchase at CarterComics.com. And not just at their website, but also on their 4 different eBay accounts that they own. And you can find every link to all those eBay accounts at the main page of CarterComics.com. Just go to the homepage, scroll to the bottom, click on one of their many eBay accounts, scroll through everything they have, bid, buy outright, negotiate, however you get it. You can use the discount there as well. That's right, you can use FreakNet, FREAKNET, to save 10% on any purchase through their eBay accounts as well. CarterComics.com wants to give you the best deal out there, and the best way to do that is through our discount code FreakNet, FREAKNET. They'll save you 10% on your purchases, either on their website at CarterComics.com or on their eBay accounts, which you can find right there at CarterComics.com.
Nice.
I know. I realize that if I just keep rambling and focusing, they actually turn out a lot better. Because realistically, while I was doing that, the fucking neighbors' dogs were barking.
I did hear that, just
like
barely.
They always do.
I didn't realize that, I didn't recognize that's what it was until right now when you said that.
Yeah. Yeah, they're always out there barking. And she seems to adding more month after month. And I don't know if she's a listener of this show, but if she is, now she realizes how annoyed I am at those fucking dogs. Because now there's 5 of them, Joe.
That's a lot of dogs.
There was
what are they, like dachshunds or something?
They're all different.
Oh,
Every single one of them. Let's see here. If I had to guess, one is some kind of, I assume, Chihuahua type fucking dog.
God. One
is, I don't know what it is, but it's like a Lhasa, but not a Lhasa. I don't know what kind of dogs those are. There's another one that I'm not quite sure what it is. Again, like a Lhasa, but not a Lhasa, but not the one that is like a Lhasa, but not a Lhasa, so a certain other kind. And then one is what I'm going to assume is going to grow into some kind of fucking hound. And the other one is what I only can remember as I believe they're called Saint Bernards.
Oh, dang.
Is that the Beethoven dog?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, the hound and the Saint Bernard are still pups. But the fucking hound clearly now has, developed the same barking attitude that the 3 other dogs fucking have. And boy, oh boy, do I wish they would fucking die.
Oh.
I love dogs. Don't get me wrong. I do. I have a dog. But I have the worst luck when it comes to neighbors and dogs.
Yeah.
And it's just annoying, especially when those dogs has an access in and out of the house through a doggy door, so they can run outside and bark at nothing at 3 a.m. Dude,
that's the worst.
It just sucks, you know. And like I said, like if I don't know why she needs fucking 5 of them. I know that she moved here from the fucking country, but living in town, you have to have some kind of respect for your fucking neighbors because they don't live an acre or 3 or 5 a fucking way.
Right.
My bedroom window is literally 15, 20 feet at most away from their backyard. And it just gives a point. And the thing is, like, I don't want to deal with my fucking neighbors. I don't want to talk to my fucking neighbors. But it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to fucking talk to my fucking neighbor because it just gets fucking ridiculous. And I know in May, my other neighbor's going to bring that German Shepherd back. And that's going to be a dog to have to deal with and bark in and nonstop. And it's just a fucking headache. And I'm okay being the nice, quiet neighbor that doesn't complain about anything, doesn't bitch about anything. But I can only take so fucking much where now I'm going to be the neighbor that you don't want to live next to because he's just done with the shit.
Right.
I've been in my house. This is going on 7.5 years now. And I never had dog fucking problems the entire time Cooper's been here until up to like last year when the fucking German Shepherds showed up, and last summer or fall when these fucking new dogs showed up. And it's like, I'm not gonna live, in a fucking house and not be able to enjoy going outside, grilling or fucking just sitting on the deck drinking a beer or mowing my yard and have constantly dogs fucking harassing my dog or just making it unbearable to fucking live here. Because eventually I'm going to become that fucking neighbor that constantly just bitches and yells. And I don't want to be that fucking neighbor. I liked my nice, quiet fucking neighborhood before these fucking dogs. It just sucks I can't let my dog out at 11 o'clock midnight when he has to go out because, oh shit, if I do that and the fucking neighbor's dog's here, I'm going to run outside and start barking and yelping at him.
Yeah.
It's stupid. It's like, I don't understand. If anyone out there is a fucking dog owner and you have yelping fucking dogs, put a fucking shock collar on them, go to an obedience school to show them how barking shouldn't be a fucking thing. Like, I get that they're trained to bark at fucking strangers coming to the front door, but to bark at fucking nothing is stupid. And if your dogs do that, you're a horrible fucking dog owner. I don't care what you say. Fix your fucking dog. Don't make the entire fucking world stress and get pissed because your fucking dogs don't have the adequate ownership to fucking be trained properly. Get your shit together, for God's sakes.
Was that your thing?
It's gonna be now. I took up quite a bit of time bitching about dogs. I had no intentions on even talking about, because that's the thing. And as I mentioned, I don't know if my fucking neighbors listen to this show, and that's why I never mentioned it until now. But it's just so fucking unbearably annoying when I can't sit at my dining room table, or I can't go outside and have a smoke, or I can't even sit here and do my podcast without knowing, oh, there's the fucking dogs again, barking at fucking nothing. I don't want to sit here and pray that coyotes come into the backyard, and I don't want to. I do it. It just doesn't make fucking sense to me. And I don't want to be the guy who fucking, makes them have an ultimatum on it, before I involve people that don't need to be involved in it. I don't want to. But everything is going so well for me. I don't need this bullshit to ruin what's going to be, I'm hoping, is a great summer to be outside and doing shit. I don't want to work on my backyard and putting down mulch and replanting shit and cutting the grass and everything. I don't have to sit there and worry about 5 dogs running up and down the fence, fucking barking and yelping just because they gotta try to prove a fucking point. Leap the fence. I'll kick the shit out of you. I don't give a fuck. Fucking bullshit, dude. And I don't know. That costs us, the dog lovers, fucking fans, and so be it, because I do have a dog. I love my dog. And the other thing, it's unfair to fucking Cooper, because for some reason Cooper doesn't like these dogs. He'll bark at the fucking German Shepherd. He'll go up nose to the fence, barking and growling at the fucking German Shepherd. When it comes to these fucking ankle biters on the other side of the fucking yard, oh no, he won't go over there. So now he's secluded to one half of his fucking yard, and that half of the yard is going to be have a German Shepherd on the side of it come May.
Poor Coop.
So now I'm going to have to go. I'm going to get home from fucking work, be exhausted and tired, open the back door. He's going to run out. There's going to be a German Shepherd outside. Then Coop and him are going to yell and bark at each other, and that German Shepherd's going to try to crawl underneath the fucking fence and everything, because he can't leave my dog alone. And on the other side, I'm going to have 5 other fucking dogs barking at this interaction and shit. I can't fucking win. And I'd love to put a fence up, but that involves fucking money.
Right.
I just want to be happy, Joe. Why can't I just be happy? I'm not miserable. I'm just really, really bothered at the fact that my neighbors have no sense of respect for my fucking dog or my fucking property. When there's a hole in the fucking fence that dogs run through and start scurrying around my backyard, and the neighbor thinks that's okay to do, it's fucking disrespectful to me. And I think that's absolutely stupid. He said, like, oh, it looks like my dog made your backyard their backyard. No, they fucking didn't. Patch that fucking hole. Or when the German Shepherd crawls underneath the fucking fence, let them run around for a bit before they finally get him again. No. That's not how this shit works. My yard has a fence for a reason. Private property is private property. I don't run a fucking dog park. I don't get how these fucking people surrounding me think it's okay to do that, unless it's because I haven't said anything before. Maybe I am too nice. Maybe I'm too nice of a fucking neighbor.
Maybe.
But I need to do something because clearly me being the nice neighbor isn't benefiting me in any way, because here I am 7 minutes into this fucking rant about stupid ass fucking dogs who somehow I haven't heard bark since I started yelling about this shit. I do know that one time I did have a bad day at work, and I came home, Cooper's running outside, and so I just leave the door open so whenever he's done, he can run back in and shit, so I can sit there and, work on my computer or whatever, and they're out there barking till one day I get up, shook the little the dog treat container I have, and that's when Cooper knows to come inside, and I just yelled out the door, "Shut up!" And it stopped. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just need to yell at these fucking dogs. Maybe. She has to know that I'm not fucking happy. She has to have some fucking idea. She has to have some idea that at 3 a.m, 3 dogs out there barking, one learning to bark, and the other one's still quite fucking quiet because it's a pup, but 3.5 fucking dogs barking at 3 a.m. isn't a good thing. And I'm sure people aren't happy about it.
Right.
I remember my Ring doorbell going off on my phone while I was at work one day, and I saw her dog running around my front yard. Because somehow they got out of the house, all the dogs out of the fucking house, and all I kept thinking about running into the street.
Yep.
Oh, gosh,
I do feel like, if you're going to be a responsible dog owner, you can't let your dogs just run wild.
No,
absolutely. That's not acceptable. It's not good for the dogs. It's not good for you if the dog gets out. It's not good for the neighborhood.
No.
I don't know. I'm also I think outside cats are bad too. Just to be clear.
I'm fine with the outside. Like, okay,
when you say in terms of just responsible pet ownership, but
if
you have a pet, keep it inside. That's what it's for.
Do you rope in barn cats as outside cats, or are barn cats an exception?
Barn cats might be an exception. I don't have a lot of experience with them.
So down here in any country, a barn cat is basically a cat that's raised outside. It's raised in the barn.
Because a working cat is different, right?
Yeah, to chase mice and stuff like that, to keep certain animals and stuff out of the barn.
Right.
But yeah, to me, if you have a domestic cat, an indoor cat, stay indoors.
Yeah. That's what, my wife and I were just talking about this. One of her friends has a stray cat that the cat is fell in love with her kid and then fell in love with her husband and is now their cat, but they still let it be outside. And they just found out that it's going to have a litter of kittens next week, probably 5 or 6 kittens. And they're like, what are we going to do with 5 or 6 kittens? And they still plan to let this cat just be outside. And I just want to be like, look, there's a reason house cat has those first 5 letters on it. Barn cats, I guess barn cat would be different because it's a job. It's a mouser. It's doing a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just one of the things where I know she has to have some kind of common sense. Like I said, I'm sure it's different around the country. If you have a fenced in part of your yard and your dogs run out at 3 a.m. barking and the nearest house is a quarter or even an eighth of a mile away and shit like that. Listen, I'm 15 fucking feet away from this goddamn fucking backyard, and I gotta work in the fucking morning. It's hard enough for me to try to go to bed as it is, I don't need to be, woken up in the middle of the night to take a leak just to have the fucking dogs out there barking at God knows what, it's stupid shit like that. And to me, I don't think it's that hard to be a fucking neighbor. I really don't,
super easy.
And I know I'm not, and I could sit here and say that there are things that I do that makes me a not so great neighbor. I'm going to say a couple years ago, not last year, because I had a lawn mow service, take care of my yard while I was doing all those sicko shifts and all that stuff. But years before, there'd be a few weeks before I cut my yard again, just because I was lazier and I was just more exhausted. So my yard did look like shit. and I understand that the neighborhood wants to, look nice and everything, and I should keep my yard cut. And I accepted that, and I got a lot better towards the end of 2 years ago. Until last year, I had a lawn mowing service. This year, I'm going to commit to doing it myself because I know I'm going to get home by 5 or 5:30 every single day. Daylight savings time is this coming Sunday, and I think it's never going away. So I'm always going to have that daylight from like 5:30 to like 8:30 to get my yard done. We don't record. I don't do anything on Wednesdays, so Wednesday's my lawn mowing day. Get done and everything. And it's just like, but like realistically, like Cooper never gets out of the yard. He's probably got out maybe about, I want to say 5-6 times in the 8 years I've had him.
Right.
But he's an aggressive dog unless he comes across another aggressive dog. Point, the German Shepherd. He sees other dogs walking around and shit like that, and he's a good fucking dog. Doesn't bark.
Yeah.
Again, the only time he barks is that either the German Shepherd or when I'm leaving. But he's not a nuisance. He's not a nuisance to the neighborhood whatsoever. For some reason, it seems like the only two people with the pain in the ass fucking dogs are the dogs that happen to live on both sides of my house.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first 7 years, I had no problems whatsoever. And then all of a sudden this shit happens. And I don't want to spend the whole time talking about dogs and shit like that. And, I don't know a lot about neighbor etiquette, but Joe, you got neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever had a neighbor that caused problems for you?
Nope. Well, I take that back. I did have, when I lived in Rogers Park, the neighbor we had across the hallway, they had a teenage daughter who, the way that I put it nicely was learning how to be independent.
Mm.
A lot of screaming matches between dad and daughter and sometimes mom. And it'd be all hours of the day and night. Now luckily our bedroom was on the opposite side, from the hallway and stuff, but it doesn't, the walls were paper thin. So you could hear everything most of the time.
Yeah. Well, and it's like when I was living in the apartment before I bought this house. Like when I first moved in, I had neighbors that were, below me were great. No, there was 4 units in the place and everyone was great. I can't remember there was a lady who lived below me. And I only talked to maybe a couple of times. I think she was only there 6 months. No. How long was I living in the apartment for? 3 years. So I think she was there for the first 2 years. And I only saw her a couple of times. I think most of the time, I know the first time we had a discussion, she wasn't happy where I was parking my truck in the parking lot.
I remember this.
And it was there was 4 units. 1 unit had the garage, and the other 3 units shared 6 parking spots. And since I was unit whatever, I had the first 2 on the very end, and then she was right next to those 2, and then the last one had the last 2 at the end. And I guess where my parking spots were, her boyfriend used to park there all the time when he came to visit, and she had a conversation with me because I parked right in the fucking middle of my 2 spots. And she didn't think that was right or whatever. Then I sat there and explained to him, listen, they're my spots. I don't have any guests and everything. So I don't see what the problem is, There shouldn't be a problem
for them.
Yeah. Yeah. And her boyfriend understood. I mean, he was a decent guy. He got he's not a big deal. It's his parking spots. I'll just park, the 1 spot over and everything. But after she moved, I got stuck with the horrible fucking neighbors below, and it was a sweet fucking girl, but her boyfriend was a complete piece of shit. I know there's fucking drugs. I know there was fucking drugs involved in some aspect. I remember telling this story that I ordered Monocle's or some kind of pizza place or some shit, and they rang the wrong doorbell, and the fucking where the front door is where the back doors were. And I was on the 2nd level. They were on the level below us, the 1st level. And dude fucking opens up the door and starts yelling and screaming at him and shit like that. And this was at 3 in the fucking afternoon.
What?
So it's not like it was late at night or anything. It was 3 in the fucking afternoon on a Sunday or some shit. And I apologized to the dude and everything, but there was one day where I was leaving for work. It was like 7 a.m. And dude's car whips out of the street into the fucking drive, into the parking spot right next to me. And you can see, the apartment, the tenant in the passenger seat crying as her boyfriend's in the driver's seat screaming at him, as his buddy is sitting behind him telling him to calm down, as her friend sitting behind her telling him to quit yelling at her. And I'm like, who has this much energy at 7 in the fucking morning?
Right?
I'm just like, holy fuck. And I know the cops have been called a few times, but it's just like, it's one of those things where, like, you know what, maybe at a certain point, once I get annoyed with the fucking neighbors, I gotta think of some kind of fucking alternatives. But the thing is, I don't want to move. I like my house. I like my neighborhood. I love my town.
Right.
You know? I don't want to be pushed out because fucking shitbag dogs, but I don't know how long they're gonna fucking live for. I keep praying for the coyotes. I just don't know.
Might need to just get some earplugs or something.
No. Fuck, no. No, I ain't gonna do that. It's not, it's just, the biggest problem is just, the constant barking at nothing. That's in the middle of the fucking night. All she has to do is just lock that fucking door up at the end of the night. You know, like when there's an ordinance in town that says between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., there's a noise ordinance. At 10 p.m., latch the fucking door. At 7 a.m., open it back up. I'm up at fucking 5, 6 in the morning every single day anyways. I don't go to bed till 10, 11 o'clock. And you know what? If they're outside barking whatever throughout the day, so be it.
Oh, yeah.
But it's just like, it's the after hour trying to sleep, waking up, taking leave, trying to go back to bed, and they're out there barking at God knows fucking what, just for the sheer fucking idea of just barking at fucking something. It's like, motherfuckers. And honestly, it probably wouldn't even bother me much if I was working out in the yard, because if I was working out in the yard, I'd have fucking my Beats by Dre in my fucking head, playing fucking music, drowning them out, mowing the yard, drowning them out. If I was barbecuing, I'll just fucking play my music, drown them out. Cooper doesn't go up to the fucking fence and get aggressive. I know it's going to be the German Shepherd on the other side that's going to cause a lot of fucking problems.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel that there's it's a no-win situation for me. And like I said, I would love to fucking get a fence. It's just, goddamn, it's so fucking expensive.
Yeah.
And I know the neighbor next door. I know he said he was going to put up a fence to divide his yard from my yard, because he already put the couple sides up. The only thing he has left is the part between my yard and his yard. And as soon as that goes up, then everything's going to be fucking gravy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll still hear the dog bark because I know he'll know we'll be out there and shit. But, I mean, until that happens and everything, I got to make sure I watch Cooper in the backyard that the German Shepherd doesn't crawl underneath the fucking fence. Because that's happened a couple of times, and I don't know what it is. I wish I knew how dogs think, or the idea of what dogs have, because they will fucking bark at each other through the fence aggressively. Hair standing up on back, fucking aggressively. But as soon as that German Shepherd comes into my yard, they'll nip slightly at each other, and then kind of run away from each other, and run back at each other, and run away from each other. Like it doesn't develop a dog fight in any fucking way.
Right, like they're playing.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense. Like, why do you guys sound like you want to tear each other apart so fucking badly? But the moment you get next to each other, it's a quick nip, a yelp, a runaway, a quick nip, yelp, runaway. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? It makes no fucking sense. Oh, man. Anywho, that's enough about dogs. We gotta talk about dogs the entire time. Do you have a get your shit together story, or not story, but a topic for this week?
Oh man, I had. Oh yeah. I was thinking about. So we had Clint on at the beginning of the season.
We did,
and we talked about ADHD and stuff. And one of the things that I feel like people are just not aware of is there's a huge shortage of ADHD meds. And And the thing is that it's not because we can't meet, like we could produce enough medicine for everyone with ADHD to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But some people are so afraid of the idea of somebody selling Adderall or giving Adderall to somebody who doesn't need it or whatever, that the DEA has restricted it, has restricted production. Thank you. And
you're welcome.
Oh yeah, Maddie just brought me some tea.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah,
I too am drinking tea.
Mm-hmm.
But mine's Lipton black tea. I'm assuming you're like a chamomile or a hibiscus.
I think it's a. I'm gonna check. Is it a chamomile mint? Yeah, chamomile mint.
Can I guess loose leaf tea?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. So
sure
it's not
is,
like
sure is.
Doesn't come in a pouch. You guys have your own steeper or steeper?
Yeah. She actually got. I don't know if she used it, but she got a bunch of. I don't know what they're called, but yeah, tea strainer things that you.
I think they're called steepers.
What do you call it, Maddie? Tea balls, I guess. Steepers.
Tea balls, like the Little League baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but shaped like I think one's shaped like a butterfly, one's shaped like a teapot. One's a heart, one's a flower.
Not to get too far away from your topic, but I need to know more about these things you're talking about here. Are they like the balls that are on the end of the chain that you kind of like with a tea bag, or is it like those ones I've seen where you kind of clip it to the side of a cup?
It's on a chain like you would with a normal tea bag, but it has like a little charm on the end that you hang on the outside of your cup. It doesn't clip, but it hangs. So like the flower one has a little bee. I forget the others. They're all themed to each other for the most part.
Gotcha. Now, how long does she? Is it called steep or steep? Is there a T in there?
Steep, yeah, with a T.
Steep. How long does she let the tea leaves steep in the hot water?
It varies from tea to tea. I believe this one is a 5-minute steep.
Gotcha. So it's like a more robust tea.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, and I think also it just takes a while for the flavor to seep out of whatever it's in.
Gotcha. See, what I like to do is I have a 1 gallon pitcher, a plastic pitcher, and I'll top that bitch off with some fucking ice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll grab what is it? I want to say, I don't think it's 4 quarts. I want to say maybe a 2-quart saucepan. Fill it with water.
Mm-hmm.
Let the water boil and shit. No, maybe. Yeah, no, it's only got to be 2 quarts. It's not that big. Let the water boil, whatever. As soon as it gets to a boil, I shut the water off and I throw about 5 to 7 tea bags in that thing. Let it sit there for about 5 minutes.
Nice.
And I'll pour that hot tea into the fucking jug with ice and shit. And let it sit there until most of the ice melts.
Nice.
Sometimes I do it right before I go to bed, so I'll just throw that thing into the fridge. And what's amazing is when you fucking wake up and everything, you just pull it out, give it a quick shake. There's still ice and shit in it.
The best.
It's so fucking good. And it's so convenient. And I would love to be a tea steep guy, but that's a whole class I'm not quite ready for. That's one of the things, like when you do shit like that, like you have like a will cemetery plot set up.
Mm-hmm.
You take your vehicle in for routine maintenances. Maybe, when you walk around the house, like after you get home from work, you do have a pair of slippers on and potentially, pajama pants. Where you have at least 2 boxes of brand style cereal. I'm not quite there.
Nice. I have none of those things. Other than I do take my vehicle in for routine maintenance, but that's it.
But you don't have a will?
No, I need to make one.
I really need to make one.
Yeah.
I in my mind, like, I guess here's the thing. I don't think I need to make a will, but I know I should make a will.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I know there's nothing in my house that my family's going to keep.
Right.
Like, there's odd and end things, like, where you're just like, hey, when I die, anyone take what they want to take. And, like, I don't think I need to make a will where it says, I leave Joe my Yeti microphone.
Right.
But the only thing I have of value in this entire fucking house is probably my fucking WWE Funko Pop collection.
Right.
But I don't know who wants 200 fucking Funko Pops, which I think I am at 200 by now.
Are you really?
maybe it's over exaggeration. I'll have to count one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just know like when I die, with my life insurance and stuff through work, half of it goes to mom, half of it goes to my dad. So half of it goes to mom and Carl, half of it goes to my dad.
Right.
And I just told him, like, listen, just, make sure my debt's wiped clean because I took out 3 times the amount of life insurance based on my debt right now. So, it's about 3 times. So, maybe not that much.
Yeah. I'm not even sure I have life insurance, to be honest with you. That's another thing I gotta take care of.
Well, I know when my mom, when we were born, they had like this Gerber life insurance thing for babies.
Yeah.
That, it's only like $10,000 and you can keep it and, you just have it.
Right.
So I still have it. I've had the same $10,000 life insurance policy since I was, a baby. A
Nice.
newborn.
Doesn't the commercial, doesn't it say it doubles when you turn 18 or something?
Maybe, I don't know. I've never seen a piece of paper about it. I just know that money gets taken out of my account for it.
Gotcha.
But I really don't know. I should look into that. I should ask mom where those fucking documents are because I'm assuming they sent fucking paperwork or something for it.
You'd think.
But so my company, they have life insurance that is twice your salary. I got that plus an additional life insurance that's twice my salary. And then they have an accidental death and dismemberment, which is if you die at work, you get an additional twice your salary. So if I die at home, I get 4 times what my annual salary is. But if I die at work, it's like 6 times or however how that fucking plays out. So it's a decent amount of money. My bills could be paid off with 1/3 of that.
Yeah.
And there'll be enough left. And I told them, like, listen, just pay off what you can of my shit. You want to pay off the house or sell the house, whatever you want to do. Everything inside it could be sold or garbage. Don't care. I'm dead. I don't need any of it anymore. Do what you want with any of it. And then just whatever nieces and nephews I happen to have. College, whatever. Don't care.
Right.
Look for the future of the kids and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Which right now there's only 3. So, it's, I don't think it'll put them through very, many schools, but,
yeah,
it's a start. But,
hopefully by the time they're ready to go to school, it's all like free and shit.
Well, hopefully by the time
like every other country does.
Yeah. Hopefully by the time they go to fucking college and shit, their parents, save their own fucking college fund.
Well, yeah, that too.
But, also, and I do have a cemetery plot. My dad bought us all cemetery plots, but those are out in the fucking middle of bumfuck Egypt, and, I don't want to be buried out there in the middle of nowhere. So I do know I gotta put a will together, and I do know I gotta get cemetery plots. But, I'm surprised. I figured that's something, you and your wife seem like the kind of, hey, we need to get our lives in order just in case something does happen. You guys seem very pre-planned kind of people.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we are. And this is the thing I actually think about a lot because, it's like, as a pastor, like we talk about it. Not Maddie and I, but like within the profession. And so, like, I came home from a meeting one time. I was like, hey, we need to do this. And she was like, I'm not ready to deal with that. We had maybe been married for like a year at that point. And she was just like, no, we've been married a year. I'm not ready to talk about that. And, lately I brought it up a couple of times and she's like, yeah, you're right. We do need to do that. I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, okay, but like, we need to make time to do that.
Yeah.
So, cause I had a congregant die about a month ago, 102 years old, did not have a will.
Yeah. Yeah. That shit ends up going to the government.
Yeah. Well, it goes into like probate and stuff and they got to figure out everything. And then, and so like we still haven't, and not that I'm like worried about it. I think her grandsons are trustworthy and, she did tell them to like, there's a certain amount that she wanted donated to the church and stuff. And, but yeah, they're just like, yeah, we're still sorting things out. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't care. Just let me know.
Yeah. What is your opinion on life insurance? I know there are some people who think it's a scam, but what's your opinion on it?
I honestly don't know. I think it's good to have at
Yeah.
least enough to cover like your funeral costs
Mm-hmm.
because funerals are friggin' expensive, like unnecessarily expensive.
Yeah. I always saw it as like you base what you so your idea of life insurance would be based on your lifestyle that you lived. Like if
Right.
you're the sole breadwinner of the house and you had like a stay-at-home wife
Yeah.
with like 3 kids, you're the breadwinner and you
Hmm.
die, they all of a sudden their whole lives change because now you got a woman, a wife who, let's say, never had a job for 10 years.
Yeah.
Now
And
she
it's
has to,
hard to get a job if you haven't worked in 10 years.
yeah, now you got to provide for 3 kids and pay a
Yep.
mortgage and all that other stuff. It's like, it's like, I think those, definitely
I think
100%.
that's important to have. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Especially if
think,
you have kids. I think if it's just you and another person, it's sort of like, yeah, it's nice, but I'm not like champing at the bit for it.
no. I also thought, like, I also feel that, especially for, like, let's say single people, like for me, my whole thing was like, I would have been fine just having half of what my life insurance was. I mean, like, not even that, like, just the basic individual, the one life insurance, the one that we get when we get hired on. I know that I would have been fine with just that. It would have covered my debt, including the house, and it would have covered for a decent funeral. Um, but I'm just like, realistically, like, if I could look at it, and I guess I could throw numbers out there, it doesn't matter. So it's a $160,000 life insurance policy.
Yeah.
If I could get that and it only costs me $48 a year,
That's not bad.
I was like, why the fuck not?
Yeah. That's
It's like,
nothing. Like,
yeah, maybe a little bit more. Maybe it's 72, but I know it's no more
okay.
than 100. It's no more than
Yeah.
$100 a year to have an additional $160,000
Right.
coverage.
I mean, you're talking like $2 a week.
Yeah. So it's just one of the things where, like, if it was someone like, hey, listen, we give you $100,000 life insurance policy, it's just going to cost you $100 a month. I'm like, nah, I can't do fucking that. But if somebody says we can give you $160,000 life insurance policy, it's going to cost you, $72 a year, and it's like, well, yeah, I'd be stupid not to do that shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because then it guarantees me 100% that any amount of debt I have will be wiped clean. And it's something that, my dad could use, that my mom, and Carl could use. They could give, as I said, like, you guys could give it to the kids for college or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And obviously you get the whole spiel from your parents, like, well, I'm going to go before you. You just don't know.
Yeah, it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly.
And the cool thing is, so like with term life insurance, you can, if you're approaching the end of the policy and you've never needed it. So most term life insurance ends after like 20 years or when you turn 72 or things like that. So like if you're going to be 72 and you still have your term life insurance and it's about to expire, you can actually get a chunk of that money back, to use for like, whatever you want because it's your money. And then also like, with whole life insurance, it's way more expensive, on the front end, but you can actually you can borrow against the policy. And like this is how like rich people get rich and stay rich is they build these massive life insurance policies with whole life insurance and they basically use it as a family bank. And they like borrow against it and shit. And then like they die and the life insurance policy covers itself. And so you don't have to pay it back because it paid itself when you died.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think about that a lot. I'm like, oh man, sometimes I wish I had the kind of money to do shit like that because it's stupid, but it's smart. You know what I mean? It's stupid because the world shouldn't work that way, but it's smart because like you might as well take advantage of the loopholes that the rich have made.
Yeah.
If you can.
I think it's weird that every time I talk about like what if I won the lottery, it's always about spending the money.
Right?
It's never like what am I going to do with it for the future? Like in my mind it's like, oh, if I ever won one of those big lotteries, I'm going to open up Freakin Studios, I'm going to hire everyone on at a salary and
yeah.
It's like okay, that's all well and good, but like let's say I won I don't know, let's say the fucking $1 billion one, and I ended up with, I think dude ended up with like $380 million or $400 million after all that and shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's like for $400 million fucking dollars, I could take a run at this Freakin' Studio thing for a decent amount of fucking time.
Yep.
And I thought to myself about that. I was like, okay, so if I win this fucking lottery and I win this money and I open up Freakin' Studios, the thing is, if I hire, let's say you, Derek, all these people onto it, I become financially, responsible for you guys.
Right.
So it's not like I can do like this for a year, like, okay, this isn't working, fuck it. It's gonna have to be a commitment.
Right.
And that's a big financial fucking, challenge. But I guess realistically, I could probably do it for about 10 years before I even see a dent in my fucking money.
Oh, absolutely. And at $400 million, on average, the market appreciates at about, historically about 10%. Mm-hmm. So at $400 million every year, the first, I shouldn't even say every year because it's just going to grow every year. So the first year, you're going to make about $40 million on your investment. And then another year after that, it'll be 44 million that you make and so on and so forth because it's compound interest, right? And so like if you, and you would have to spend it at an insane rate. I actually have done the math on it. You can take at whatever that, amount was. I think it was about $450 million if you took the lump sum.
Yeah, it was somewhere around like after all the taxes and what the lottery took out with the state and all that goofy shit.
You can take out, I think, around $7.5 million a month and still be a billionaire in 25 years.
It's insane. It's insane.
And that's at a conservative 6% interest rate rather than the historic 10% that the stock market appreciates at.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I don't fucking get. And you know what? I've had this similar conversation on different topics. It's like, okay, I get that when people say it's like, oh, the lottery's up to $1,900 million fucking dollars.
Right.
It sounds a lot better than saying the lottery's at the number you're going to get when you're done.
Right.
But it's like realistic when people, you sit there and tell people like, oh, you're about to win $1,900 million. But wait, the lottery has to take their share. And then you gotta do your state taxes, and then you gotta do your federal taxes. So yeah, your $1,900 million winnings, well now that dwindles down to like $390 million, which is great. Fucking $3 million is fucking incredible.
Right.
But to sit there and think to yourself like, okay, I get $390 million, but you're getting $510 million.
Right.
And you never really hear where that fucking money goes.
Schools and roads.
It blows my fucking mind. And that's the thing too. You can clearly see that no one in Illinois ever fucking wins the lottery because we've seen our schools and we've seen our roads.
Right. Yeah.
It's just, it's just weird, but it's like one of the things where I was like, I would love to, if I won the lottery, Freakin' Studios, I hire everyone on, we'd build our own fucking building, we'd have, the video content room and the audio content room and, we'd have our own fucking offices and you and I would have our big ass offices, everyone else could be in cubicles because Freakin' Studios are our thing. But then we bring people on, we start buying up fucking other podcasters and shit like that, and just start growing and like the small, not the big ones. Like there's no way I can offer Joe Rogan fucking money.
Right.
But it's just like, we can find a way to fucking make hey, listen, let's get enough podcasts where we can dump a fucking podcast a week and just say, fuck it, Babes of Lore, GCR, whatever. And, just make these content, or not GCR, but Geekcast Live.
Right. Yeah.
Stuff like that. And then we could fucking start looking at huge fucking, guests, fly them in, put them up in hotels, do the interviews and shit like that. I think 10 years, by 10 years, we're fucking huge.
Yeah.
I could definitely invest in shit like that, but that'd be the fun part of it. Then you gotta look at the other shit like, cool, okay, so you develop Freakin' Studios and everything, all of a sudden, boom, fucking dead. What happens to all that stuff? That's the shit I never thought. That's the shit I never thought about.
And well, if you have that kind of money, that's when you have to think about it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so you gotta who gets the fucking money, as a lump sum and that shit you have to be meticulous about because the government's still trying to fucking pull that money fucking from you and everything.
Oh yeah, you're going to get taxed on your capital gains. after, well, and it's a higher amount if you take it before a year passes versus after a year passes. And
yeah, and I was trying to figure out too, because I know at least in the state of Illinois, and every state is different, but I know the state of Illinois, like you could give away, I think like $15,000 a year tax free to somebody.
Yep.
But you can't exceed, I want to say it's like $11 million in a lifetime.
Yeah, I think they increased it to 15 million last year, but yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking to a friend of mine, Diana. She used to be a coworker with me, and we were always talking about, like, you know, again, this was when that $1 billion lottery happened in like 2016, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And she was asking, like, well, you know, like, what would I do with the money if I won? I was like, I don't really know. And she's like, well, you could give it to, like, you can help out, you know, like, you know, your mom and Carl and your dad and your sisters and your brothers and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I would definitely love to. But here's the thing. Like, I want to be able to help them without having this shit being taxed. So I told him, like, well, maybe what I could do is I'll just open up a different fucking bank account and put their fucking name on an individual bank account.
Right.
And she's like, yeah, but I mean, like, that way, she's like, but you'll be kind of like monitoring the money. I'm like, I mean, not really. I mean, there'll be my accounts. It'll just, you know, I'll have like Sherry's name on, you know, Sherry and Alan on this one, Nick on this one, Ashley on this one, Mom on this, you know, Mom and Carl on this one, right. Joey and Matt, you know, Mike, you know, whatever, you know, just, you know, she's like, yeah, well, and then they can use the money for whatever they want. I'm like, I mean, I would want them to be responsible about the money they're using, but yeah, I mean, like everyone will get, you know, parents will get a certain share, siblings will get a certain share, you know, yeah. And I'll put the money in the bank, and then the money just sits there. Use it for what you want. Yeah. You know, I would just want you to be smart about using it and everything. And she's like, well, you know, we're gonna, you know, like, you know, micromanage, you know, what to use the money for. I'm like, I think I have certain siblings who will piss that money away on stupid shit. And I wouldn't, you know, be cool with them doing it, but like I said, it's a gift to them. They can use it for what they want. I just want them to be responsible, because I say, like, I'm giving each sibling, you know, $10 million fucking dollars.
Right.
I would love for them to build a life for themselves. You know, I don't want them to go out and spending it on fucking fancy cars and trips around the world. And, you know, all of a sudden they come back, they got $300,000 left and they have no place to fucking live.
I can't even fathom spending enough to, taking 10 million and having 300,000 left.
Right. I mean, yeah, and that's the thing, and that's what I was trying to explain to her. Is like I want them to live and enjoy life. I just don't want them to squander it away.
Yeah. You
know, it's like, and
I know I figured out to retire right now, really to retire at any point between now and my actual retirement age, $5 million is all I would need. Right. If I to walk away right now. And obviously as I get older, it gets closer to like 2 or 3 million or something, based on the estimates with like inflation and stuff. But like I can't imagine needing more than that. That's $5 million is, in an investment account is very easy, like $10,000 a month.
Yeah. Yeah. And she even was telling me that she thought like $10 million wasn't enough. She's like, we give them a little bit more. And I'm like, okay, well, think about this. What I want to do is I want to give like $50 million to each parent. They don't need it, but fuck it. Because they're just going to leave it to the kids anyways.
Right.
So like if I give them each $50 million, that drops me down to about $280 million fucking dollars. If I give each sibling $10 million fucking dollars, that's $70 million fucking dollars. So now I'm down to 210. I can invest the rest. I had other plans. It wasn't just like, you know, like fitness studios and giving money to family. Like I wanted to create like a scholarship for like my school.
Yeah.
To send kids, you know, do an annual scholarship for, you know, a kid or two to go to school, or, you know, to help them out, not pay for the whole thing, but to help them out in a scholarship program. I wanted to open up some businesses, call it Sturbico, you know, and just have some fucking small businesses underneath, like, you know, give back to my town, help maybe build up the town and shit like that. But at the same time, yeah, I want to be able to tell people I'm a fucking millionaire, that I fucking, you know, this is my shit. Yeah. You know, like a nicer house. I don't need a mansion. There's no way in fucking hell I'd ever own a mansion. I don't need to. But a nicer, newer fucking house. Maybe a truck that doesn't have a check engine light on and fucking sputters once in a while. You know, like, I want to be able to enjoy myself.
Right.
And
I
then,
mean, I would love a homestead with like, probably, somewhere between 8 and 20 bedrooms so that I can always host everybody at my house and their families and stuff. And, maybe have a guest house or something on the property.
Wyoming.
Be able to farm.
Wyoming has plenty of fucking houses like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think we ever got to what you wanted to get their shit together.
That's true. So anyway, so the DEA is basically stepping in. Basically, the DEA decides every year how much Adderall, for example, is allowed to be produced.
Yeah.
And the thing is that with the pandemic, a lot of people sitting at home with no structure for the first time realized that like they probably have ADHD. And so they got diagnosed and they got their prescription, and this was all done online and stuff. And so now there's these massive shortages of Adderall. There's massive shortages of all different kinds of stimulant ADHD medicine. And then also there are certain non-stimulants that are also affected. I'm really lucky. Mine is not so far.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them they're not producing enough, and they're not getting to pharmacies, and people are unable to get the prescriptions filled, basically. And then on top of that, because it was a little bit from the perspective of people who think drugs should be restricted, they basically were like, well, it's too easy for people to get diagnosed with this. You have to get in to see a doctor in person to be able to get the diagnosis. Whereas like everything pandemic, like even me, like I can't get to a doctor in person because there's a 2-year waiting list for this type of, diagnosis.
Yeah.
And it's a 6-month process. So we're talking 2.5 years from now, I could finally, be diagnosed and get my prescription, or, which is what I did, go online to a website like Done or, Cerebral, which is being sued for being a little bit too lax. Or there's a whole bunch of telehealth services now where you'll sit down with like a nurse practitioner or a doctor, of a different kind, and they'll be like, they'll ask you some questions. They'll talk with you a little bit. They'll try and see like how your life is affected by or whatever. And they'll diagnose you via video phone and then just send your prescription to your local pharmacy. Which on the one hand, maybe it's a little too lax, but on the other hand, you're not going to learn something in person, that you're not going to learn, answering questions on a video phone. Like you can see people's eyes. If they're going to lie on Zoom, they're going to lie in person, and you're going to be able to tell either way, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only are these huge shortages, the DEA and the Biden administration are making it harder to get a diagnosis in the first place. And the thing is with I get it with opioids, right? It's difficult to prove you're in pain, whether you're in person or not. But with the opioid crisis, I totally understand making it a little bit harder to get opioids. But with ADHD, like the number of steps involved in, like, I got to talk to my doctor, get my general practitioner to agree that I probably have this disorder. Then she's going to refer me to a specialist. Then I got to meet with the specialist who's going to refer me to a psychiatrist who's going to, officially diagnose me and send me back to the specialist who's going to send me back to my GP to finally get my fucking prescription, which I then have to go to the pharmacy to pick up. That's why it takes 6 months. For a person with ADHD, that is too many steps compared to, I got online, I signed my name up, I put my phone number in, I put my email in, I paid like $300, and I had an appointment the next day over a phone call. And I filled out a survey. She went through the survey with me in person, or like on the video call to like see if my answers matched. And like now it's too much money. It would be cheaper if I could go through my regular healthcare provider. But like I pay a fee every month and I pay for my prescription every month and I just have it. It just shows up. It's awesome. And that might not be an option for people going forward. And so, to the DEA, to the Biden administration, to anybody who thinks like, I don't know. I don't know if you think like poors shouldn't have access to medicine, or it's like a weird pearl clutching, like nobody should have any drugs. Get your shit together. Yeah, you look at like Portugal, who has completely decriminalized all drugs. Drug use drops off because when it's not clandestine, it's not sexy. So kids don't get into it, and if kids don't get into it, like adults don't either. And if you can put it in a safe place where people can like try it recreationally or whatever underneath doctor supervision, people don't get addicted. And there's so many benefits to just making things just legal, or at least not criminalized. Mm-hmm. It's just nonsense to me. I say make it legal, make it tax it. Maybe don't tax it like at the rate that it's taxed in Illinois. But tax it enough that you can like pay for schools with it, like they do in Colorado, or you can get a refund from the government because they collected too much money, like happened in Alaska, Colorado, and Kentucky. They
collected too much money.
Yeah, some states have a limit on how much the government is allowed to tax every year.
Oh, gotcha.
And so, like as a state government, they have to refund that to everybody, whatever the surplus is. It's like that would never happen in Illinois, right? If Illinois had too much money, it would either go into the pension funds to cover the shortfalls that they stole from before, or it would go to like the slush fund that they use to make sure when governors are inevitably arrested, they can have a cushion prison cell.
Oh, gotcha. So when you're talking about the Biden administration changing like who's able to get the meds or some shit there, they're changing the test to verify.
Yeah, they want to basically cut telehealth services.
Okay.
They think it's too easy to have access to a doctor, they say. And this is at the same time that rural hospitals around the country are shutting down. Some hospitals are like getting rid of their maternity wards because they don't make enough money for the hospital. Telehealth services are critical at this point in history. And they basically want to get rid of them because like people shouldn't be able to have a doctor's appointment in their pajamas or whatever.
Well, when you say that, so this is how I'm picturing it when you say that.
Yeah.
So there's a straight line going across the room. Everyone on one side lined up, non-ADHD.
Uh-huh.
Everyone on the other side, from the line back, is ADHD, but is ranked based on how much they're affected by ADHD. Which the lowest person is at the front of the line.
Okay.
Right? Or they're standing, their toes are on the line, going back to the worst case ADHD person.
Sure.
So the way you said it, I think they're taking that line and moving it. So the few people who are closer to the line are now falling on the non-ADHD side.
Right. That I think is the idea that they want to create. They want to make sure that the only people getting it are the people who quote unquote really need it.
Okay, so they're basically starting at the back end and working their way forward. Who desperately needs it, and then they just keep going to maybe a percentage of like, hey, these guys still have ADHD, but they don't really need the medicine as bad as this group of people. So this group of people gets it first. Okay.
Yeah. That's the world as they see it. But the problem is that if you're one of the most affected cases, you're never going to you're not going to be able to call a doctor because it's such a struggle to even like put pants on.
Yeah, I guess it is. I don't know if I have ADHD or not, but I think it'd be really hard to really decide that without being evaluated.
Right.
I don't think which actually that's what I'm kind of doing as we're talking. Like, I don't think there's like an online test that you just take it home that ends up with like, congratulations, you're not ADHD.
Yeah, there are a few out there that I don't know if they say congratulations, you don't have it. What they'll say
I'm
is
hoping
like,
they say congratulations, you do.
Right. Well, a lot of them will say like, you should consider talking to your doctor about the results of this test. And that's when it's like, oh yeah, maybe you have it.
Hey, I found a 1-minute test.
Nice. Well, that's what I will say. The one sketchy thing about the place that I got diagnosed at, it was only like a minute.
How can they decide in a minute if you have ADHD or not?
You answer like, I think it was like a 10 or 15 questionnaire. And so it's, the length of the test is determined by how quickly you can read and click agree, strongly disagree.
Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is a common neurodevelopment condition that can affect how you think, process emotions, and respond to your environment. Through ADHD is commonly diagnosed in children and teens, and it can diagnose in adults too. Not everyone has the same ADHD symptoms or experiences them in the same way. In some instances, symptoms may not be as intense, while you can also experience bad ADHD days for some reason. Oh man, hold on a second. So, simply answer the questions on how you have behaved and felt during the past 6 months. Take your time and Joey, I'm not gonna lie, I think I found our next Internet Knows Best test to take next week.
I'm in.
Because we'll find out how legit it is, because you said you've been diagnosed with ADHD.
Yeah, maybe my score is better now that I've been medicated.
Right? I don't know if I am or not, so we'll see how this goes. Because I think there's other quizzes and stuff here. ADHD symptom quiz, anxiety symptoms, autism, bipolar, PTSD, psychopathy. God damn it. I don't know why I keep wanting to say psychopathy. Psychopathy, OCD, narcissism. Oh God, I want to take that narcissism test so bad. Is it narcissistic of me to think that I'll ace that fucker?
Oh, I don't know, maybe.
I think we're gonna take a few of these fucking quizzes, man, because this is shit I want to know. I want to know if I have ADHD. I don't think I've ever had anxiety. I know I've been depressed, but I don't know if I've had anxiety. And honestly, I thought that maybe a small part of me could have been autistic. Yeah, I guess am autistic. I guess it's not really something you grow out of.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know. Bipolar, I think I used to have an issue with that. I don't know what borderline personality is.
I don't really know either. I feel like every time I hear something about it, it's different than what I heard before.
Yeah. Now, my only concern about what this website is that it's a .com and not a .edu. So. But we're definitely going to be taking the ADHD test next week to find out how we do. And who knows? Maybe I'll find a guest or something to come on with us and do it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
I want to see the first question. How often do you have difficulty sustaining your attention while doing something at work, school, a hobby, or fun activity? Example, I already lost focus. Okay. What is EG?
For example, I don't know what it stands for, but it means for example.
See,
it's like a Latin phrase.
Yeah, because I remember EX, example.
Right.
Remain focused during lectures, lengthy readings, and conversations. Difficult to sustain your attention. Yeah, because we do bounce around. Oh shit, maybe I do have ADHD. Well, we'll find out next week. Listeners.
The EG stands for, it's the Latin phrase exempli gratia, which means for example.
Could you Google when did they change EX to EG? Because I would love to hear that answer.
Interesting. So one of the things that popped up right away was people also ask, should I use EG or EX? And it says many people think that EX is an abbreviation for example and use it as such. They would be wrong. The correct abbreviation to use when citing the example is EG because EX is an abbreviation for exercise. Using it properly would require talking about a school lesson or a part of a textbook. Yeah, so EX apparently means exercise, not example, which I didn't know.
Does it give you an example of a sentence?
With EX?
Yeah. Like, learn about American wars, EX, Revolutionary, Civil War, World War II, stuff like that?
Yeah, please open your books to EX6. So
Well,
please
there's a
open
page.
your books to exercise 6.
Nah, they're fucking with me now.
I've never heard of this. I've always thought it was example.
You know what? Your wife's a teacher. Right? Well, used to be, or
Used
is.
to be, yeah.
But she has a degree in teaching.
Yeah.
Bring her here. Can you get her to hear me and hear you at the same time?
No.
Damn it.
Actually, if you give me a second, yes. But she has her notifications silenced, so I can't text her.
Okay. Well, we'll worry about the next time because we're kind of over time. So we'll keep that on the back burner for next week too. If not, I'm going to try to find a fucking teacher we can bring on here. I don't know what, but I'm sorry. I was never told turn your page to exercise bot. No, they say chapter 2.
Right.
Oh, this fucking world we live in. I tell you. Joe, what are you freaking thinking about?
What am I freaking thinking about? I am freaking thinking about, there's a show on Disney Plus that is it's a sequel to the old animated Clone Wars show, called The Bad Batch. And it's about a group of the clone troopers who are, they were genetically modified. Like one of them's stronger and one of them's really good at shooting stuff. And another one is really smart. Actually it's probably very autistic, frankly. Which I guess that you can't really say very versus not, because that's not how it works. But they definitely have autism, or are autistic, however that works. And then I don't know, there's a bunch of other ones, but it's a fun show. It's called The Bad Batch. Season 2 just came out, I think, in January. And the last couple of days, I have made my way through everything that's available so far, and I believe that it is a weekly release. So there should be a new episode at some point this week, and that's what I'm going to be watching until they are done with the season. So The Bad Batch on Disney Plus, fantastic, highly recommend.
There was I had a note down here that I was going to talk about Disney Plus on this episode, talking about how they're increasing the price of the fucking streaming app to $110 a year.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, and I thought that was kind of weird. I'm like, hold on a second. So when this thing came out in 2019, it was $70 a year, and they bragged about how it's cheaper than fucking Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
But it's gone up by $40 in the 3 years it's been around.
Wow. Well, and remember when you first signed up, when they first released it, I should say, they had that like buy 3 years in advance and you can get it for $3 a month.
Mm-hmm. I did not know about that part.
That's how GCR got it at first.
Wise man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm thinking about, Joe.
Yeah.
Since you asked so nicely.
Oh, I thought I did. I'm sorry. I thought about asking you. I guess I did.
It's fine. That's the D in you. So I've been doing a lot of more things involving pro wrestling lately. A lot because of the growth and popularity of. Well, I mean, first off, I wanna congratulate not only you but Nubby, you guys co-hosting these shows with me, because we have seen a substantial growth in viewership from both shows over the past year. So thank you guys for that. One of the perks of having Nubby on as a co-host for Just Freakin' Wrestling is it gets me more interaction with other wrestling promotions and bookers and owners and stuff like that. And actually, in this month, I want to say, is March 25th a Sunday?
No, it's a Saturday. The 26th should be the 26th. Sunday.
So March 26th, I believe should be March 26th. I'm actually going to be a host of a wrestling show in Richmond Park.
Nice.
Yeah, it's weird because it's going to be my first time ever legitimately inside a ring, doing promos and stuff at a indie wrestling show. Like I'd been inside a ring at an indie wrestling show once before, but it was just kind of like holding the title up with the champion at the end of the main event. But this is my first time where I'm going to be actually like in the ring with a microphone, being part of the show. And I'm really excited for that. And I found out yesterday when I was recording the show that I was being invited by the company to do that. And I was like, absolutely 100%, I'm on board. And I've just been thinking about it all last night, most of today. Like, geez, how's it going to go? Like, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to be and stuff like that. So I've just been kind of thinking about it because, I mean, obviously, I do have a travesty character on JFW, and sometimes it kind of flows over here. We talked about that on the live stream over the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you about that LIM group.
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently they're thinking about coming to that show in Richmond Park that I'm hosting. And I was like, God damn it, I'm going to get booed because the fans of the IPW show, they don't really know who I am. So they don't know how they should react to me. But as soon as you get a couple people in the crowd booing me, they're just going to kind of follow along. It's just how wrestling fans are. For the most part, they're sheep. If they don't know a guy, they kind of try to listen to what other people are fucking doing. And if they're booing, they'll boo. If they cheer, they'll clap and shit like that. So I'm like, God, I'm excited for it. I'm happy for it. I think, and I know it's cliche because I've said it so many times between the two shows, but I think 2023 is a big year, not just for me, but I do believe for Freakin Studios. And I got you and Nubby Turtle, Mike, however you want to call him, to thank for that. And I don't really know who's really involved in Freakin Studios anymore because we've had a lot of people come and go and removed and shit like that. But as soon as I find out who's still part of it and who's still involved, I would like us to get together for some kind of like maybe a barbecue or something like that.
Oh yeah, barbecue would be great.
I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be well deserved. Or we could even do a luncheon because apparently you and Nubby, you both, I don't want to say you guys live near each other. I'll have to remember where he lives, and we'll have to find out how far he lives from you, but maybe I'll come up that way and we can all grab lunch or something. Do our, go to our Hooters luncheon like we had that one board meeting at.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I'm thinking about that, so I'm excited for that shit. So, hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Every week our listeners can catch Cartoon Joe here on this freaking show. But if an hour of Cartoon Joe just isn't enough, where can they go?
If you need more Cartoon Joe, you can find me over at the Geekcast Live podcast at violentpress.com. You can also find us on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, and Twitter by searching Geekcast Live.
Perfect. Guys, make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter by searching This Freakin Show. And, of course, you can find our shows wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or Podbean, just by searching This Freakin Show. Make sure you are checking out Freaknet Studios' YouTube channel, where me and Cartoon Joe will be dropping some videos here shortly as soon as we figure out what we want to do and when we can do it. Make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell over there, and check out all the videos we have released so far, and keep an eye out for the ones that we have coming out in the future. Guys, that's all I got. As always, I am Travesty.
And I'm Cartoon Joe.
And thank you for listening to another episode of This Freakin Show. I'm out.